Wife forced to give extra credit, assigns it to parents. My wife teaches a lovely group of kids in an area where parents are incredibly strict. The children are almost all operating within the A grade range and their parents overwork them to ensure the A+. Anyways, the new school year has some parents pestering my wife for extra credit assignments. She's insisted that it is optional for her to assign extra credit and they've raised the issue up through administration to force her hand. Another teacher, who teaches the same class, gives loads of extra credit and they want their children to be on an even level. With the news that she'd have to match the amount of given extra credit opportunities, she has decided to involve the children's parents. Examples: 5-page handwritten and legible essays about a historic event they were a part of, 20-minute video interview of their opinions and experiences about certain political events while growing up. Her extra credit is just many different little assignments that take lots of time from the parents' day for an extra couple points on the next exam. While she continues to assign these extra credit assignments, the participation rate has been 0.
Now to the comments. This is brilliant. I remember when my daughter was in 4th grade, I was standing with a group of parents and a girl walks out all excited and says to her mom, "I got a 98%. And her mom immediately got angry and said, "What happened to the other 2%? She went on and then went in to talk to the teacher about it. Unbelievable.
I knew quite a few kids whose parents were like this. I was a slacker kid in AP classes. They demanded perfection and most even made their straight A kids go to tutoring facilities after class, which was basically just 2 to 3 hours more of school a day. Out of the 5 I kept in touch with, 4 of them got a little freedom in college and instantly rebelled, eventually dropping out, or flunking out and being successful with less pressure at a community college. Being that way is as a parent is a good way to make your kid not just not want to do it anymore."
One of my semi-close friends in freshman year of HS tried to commit suicide at a private school because he was flunking. His mom was that kind of parent. Oh, I have an idea. 1,000-word essay about the importance of having a happy childhood and the detrimental effect on child development of imposing too much unnecessary academic pressure.
I like this one. Let them do more research. LOL.
Extra credit: research the origins of cupcakes, and bring examples of recipes to class. Observe a brewery/winery/distillery's production process, and bring examples for the teacher. Review the class history book for revisionist nonsense, and launch a campaign to demand that the school board issue factually correct texts. Edit: create origami using $20 bills. Origami will not be returned once graded.
Had a band teacher make a kid write a 3-page essay about the origins of his saxophone because he couldn't make it to our concert. He wrote a story about his parents taking him to the store to purchase it and bringing it home. The teacher took it to administration to try and get him an F. The principal said he did exactly as instructed. Edit: thank you random strangers on the internet. This is my most upvoted thing ever.
We had a history teacher that told us to write a 3-page essay in Schindler's List, and then she mentioned that she was only going to mark the introductory and conclusion, so that's all I wrote for her and she couldn't find a way to deduct any marks. LOL, love it. Then she can cancel all the extra credit crap due to lack of participation.
Yeah, this one is beautifully thought out and executed. How could administration even push back on her canceling extra credit when the participation rate has been 0?
Why bother canceling it? Keep offering the same options. You only need to come up with new options if someone completes one of the current ones. Yeah man, that's how you do it. We want to be more involved in our child's learning. No, not like that. Not where we actually have to contribute.
If they actually cared about the kid instead of using them as a proxy of their own success, they would contribute. I hope OP's wife keeps this kind of extra credit up, because if parents do opt to participate with these, I think it'd be good for both parent and child.
This would be right up my alley growing up. F geometry, but do a crazy interview with dad about history. I'd be in. LOL.
Hell yes. I was shoved into advanced geometry as a freshman. Got a C first semester. Second semester I had a 55 going into the final, got a 45 on the final, but got a D in the class because the teacher felt sorry for me. I would sit with my dad for hours every night and just cry because I didn't understand. And then the next morning, my teacher would walk into the school at 6 a.m., school started at 7:20, with coffee in each hand, one for him and one for me because he knew my ass was already outside his door to beg for help. He was the best teacher ever.
Dang, what year does she teach?
And what age and where are children's exams so competitive as to need extra credit assignments? I've only ever witnessed it in post-18 studies.
It's common in the States, where some mandated testing and terrible curriculums often have teachers sympathizing with students who at least show some interest in learning and struggle with assignment types that aren't conducive to them. Or if a teacher knows their subject is highly dependent on correct work, they may want to give those who work hard, but don't show aptitude, the chance to have a grade that more accurately reflects their effort, without grading on a curve. I rode a school bus 2.5 hours to and from school. I did all of my homework on the ride back and forth. Needless to say, my penmanship got many complaints from the teacher.
Up and down hills. Was first on and last off. Home was worse, so another 5 hours of safety. Also read a lot of books.
That's actually super meaningful and will probably be absolutely great for the parents and children alike. To this day, one of the most worthwhile assignments I had in grade school was to interview my grandfather about his life and write about him. I learned a lot about my family member. So did my mother. Savage. I love it. I've always added extra credit to the tests I give. It's the same question: what else did you learn about subject X that wasn't covered in class? How did you learn about it? I've had kids make origami when we were studying Japan, learned from YouTube, give historical facts that we didn't get to in class. I've even had a kid do some spoken word poetry based on a grammatical concept. Shrugs at values learning, recognizes it doesn't all happen in class, and adds layers to our study.
Your solution may be less badass witch, but frankly it's outright better than OPS wife's.
While she continues to assign these extra credit assignments, the participation rate has been 0. No participation? Who could have predicted? That is a great idea. It would be a good way to get parents talking to their kids about their life and history. My parents don't talk much about the events that they were around for, mostly because there isn't a natural way for them to come up. This would be great. This reminds me of my experience with one of my college professors. Incredible amount of knowledge. Just appalling teacher. As a class we finally convinced him of offering extra credit. The guy offered the class to attend a lecture from one of his colleges and then make a 10-page summary. The professor wanted us to spend 3 hours listening to a talk that was vaguely relevant to the class, then do a 10-page paper on something that we couldn't possibly understand to the level that he expected, all so that we could get 1 extra point out of 100. Guess who did it out of spite and was actually the only one? Yep, this guy. I was one of those kids. Straight A's on absolutely everything I did. Sucked up new skills and information like a sponge. My parents pestered me a lot whenever I didn't get 100%. At age 14 I was burnt out. I just couldn't keep the facade any longer. Went from straight A's to C's and D's in the span of a few months. Turned out I developed some serious depression from constantly feeling like I wasn't good enough, still struggling with depression and never finished high school.
I had a very similar experience, except that I did finish high school and enrolled in college, where I failed my first 2 semesters and dropped out, chopped all my hair off, started smoking, married a random soldier and moved to an army base in another state. Turns out you can't run away from your own depression though. Eventually I decided to live my life based on my own definition of success and stop putting so much stock in the opinions of others. Got a job taking care of plants instead of being a rocket scientist or whatever the hell my family wanted for me, and learned what it's like to live for myself. 15 years after dropping out, I decided to go back to school and finally earned my AA degree and a few technical certificates like 2 weeks ago, and I actually have my first job interview in years. Literally never give up on trying to find your own purpose, because doing it for yourself makes a really big difference. I believe in you.